Hey, it's James Lynch. So Dana White spoke to the media last night after UFC 326 and gave us a few updates and a few tidbits on some of the things that are going on right now in the UFC. And we're going to start first with this Jon Jones stuff. So if you guys have watched my channel for any period of time, you know I've been very adamant about saying that after Jon Jones beat Stipe Miocic, he would never fight again. And there was all these rumors about Jones and Pereira for the White House card. I didn't believe that either. I was very firm on that. I know it's hard to deal with Jon Jones in terms of just the money that's involved, the matchups, all that stuff. I also mentioned, and I talked about this on my live stream last night, that it's not like Jones was really calling Pereira out all the time, right? If this is a guy that really wanted to fight Pereira, why are you not doing media, going on social media and begging for this fight? And that certainly didn't happen. So here's Dana White talking about Jon Jones. Then we got some tweets from Jon Jones, which I'll get into after, but here's Dana White talking about the Jon Jones, possibility of him fighting on the White House card and that not coming to fruition. Here's Dana White talking to the media last night.
There is speculation, of course, that it's Jon Jones.
No, it's not.
Was Jon
Never.
Okay, so just to clarify, there was a rumor, it's been widely reported that there was a fight that fell through last night, a couple days ago, I should say, for the White House card. Dana right there is just confirming that it wasn't anything involving Jon Jones. So he puts that to bed.
Ever, which I told you guys 100,000 times, was Jon Jones even remotely in my mind to fight at the White House. I wouldn't. First of all, I've told you why I wouldn't do it. And number two, some guy with, meta glasses on filmed him talking about his hips, that his hips are so bad. And I don't know if you guys saw that flag football game where he can barely run. Jon Jones he retired because of his hips. He's got arthritis in his hips. Apparently he's been, doctors say he should have hip replacement. So. Okay. Add that on top of all the other reasons that I wouldn't. The Jon Jones thing is bullshit. Okay. I'm not saying they weren't talking to Jon Jones and that Jon Jones wasn't interested in the fight. And what was even crazier is Jon Jones came out and was like, I'm in negotiations right now for the White House fight, after I had already sent a text to his lawyer saying, never going to happen ever.
So there you go. That's Dana's side of it. And then he kind of backtracks a bit and says that we were talking. Now, Ariel kind of gives some more clarification on this. We'll read the tweet here. He says, since deleted tweets, Jon Jones responds to the narrative that he was never in the running to fight on the White House card. And also Ariel had a report too that there were some talks a couple weeks back. He says, Jones is right. They did talk. They did negotiate. They just didn't close the deal. Not sure why Dana said otherwise yesterday. Well, I guess I do know. Why would you want to admit when everyone is poo-pooing on the card that you couldn't agree to terms with the massive name? So here are the tweets from Jones. He says, I'm released from the UFC. Let's go. I would prove him wrong, but would I be wrong, or would I be the bigger man and remain silent? I'll be the fall guy. Sure, this makes sense. All this negotiating was complete crap. You want me to agree to publicly? How painful. Laying in bed, wrapping my head around the perception. All I can think about how painful. So, I mean, they're both kind of right. Like, Jon has come out and said about his hips that he, might have to retire. So there's that part of it. Would he be willing to fight even with his health issues? I'm sure he would. But my whole thing with this is, like, again, this goes back to what I said before. If Jones was really serious about this fight, where was the ramp up in the media to make this fight happen? I just didn't see that from Jones. Not even talking about this year, but even last year. Like, that was always the reason I didn't think Jones was going to come back. Because, look, it was pretty obvious. He gave every, reason in the book not to fight Tom Aspinall, whatever. Let's say all those reasons are true. Where was this campaign to fight Pereira? I just didn't see enough of that. We saw the odd thing in an interview or maybe the odd tweet here and there, but there was never anything credible, at least from me, of Jones wanting to fight Alex Pereira. So that's the part I don't get. I mean, there are a bunch of people crapping on this card, and maybe that's a separate video in itself. Like, listen, I don't think it's an all-time amazing card. I think it's still a good card. People are saying it's a bad card. I don't know what they're talking about. Because again, you're getting, the Pereira Gane fight alone is just a really, really interesting fight. But yeah, you've got you've got Jones, who obviously wanted, it seemed like he wanted to compete, but I think if you're really serious, like, what, again, campaign more for it, put pressure on the UFC. He's Jon Jones, for God's sakes. Like, to some degree, he's bigger than the UFC, and he could put stuff out there and put pressure on the UFC to make the fight happen. I just didn't see enough of that. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but go look on Jon Jones's social media or look at any of the media he's done. There hasn't been a huge push to fight Pereira. So yeah, again, this is part of the reason why I don't think Jones fights again. I think there's a lot involved with money and different things that I just didn't think made sense here. But you heard Dana say it clear as day here. He thinks Jones is retired. I've said this for a while. I hope this is the last of Jon Jones. Listen, I enjoyed watching Jon Jones compete in the UFC, but this has gone on long enough. This is a couple years of, him. Is he going to fight Aspinall? Is he not? Is he going to fight Pereira? Is he not? Like, no. Yeah, if that fight got booked, cool. That would have been awesome. That would have been a fight that people would have got excited about, but it didn't happen. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Well, got to point this out too, and we'll take this quick opportunity to point out accounts you should not be following when it comes to news. Here is Octagon Pulse, one of the worst accounts humanly possible in this industry, breaking Alex Pereira, Jon Jones is official for the White House per UFC on Facebook. UFC never said anything about that at all. Just completely made up. This is also an account that continuously gets community notes for just spreading misinformation. This goes back to one of these accounts that has a check mark. People think they're a legit outlet, and if they get something wrong, there's no big deal. Like, this tweet's still up. This was put on March 5th. It's March 8th now. This is still up here. No retraction. No, I got bad information. And there's no, and they don't even show where the UFC said this on Facebook. That's another thing. If you're going to source people, show where it's coming from. Link to the original article or post. So they said that. And then here's another one they had too, just to give you an idea. This is a different card, but Yuri and Chimaev has officially said, of course, that was Kevin's bogus report, but he again tries to take credit for himself. So this is another account. Just wanted to throw this in here because this ties in, because there were so many people being like, it's officially going to happen. And I'm like, I don't think so, guys. It's Jon Jones. So anyways, that's everything on Jon Jones that Dana White mentioned last night. Let's get to the stuff with Arman, because this stuff's interesting too. So Dana White's asked about Arman. Obviously, I did a couple videos on this talking about the whole situation at RAF. Here's what Dana has to say, and then I got some things to say after. Here's Dana White on Arman Tsarukyan and the latest with him.
I don't know. I'm not thrilled with Arman right now. And there's a lot of different reasons. It's not just the stuff that you see publicly. But yeah.
Care to elaborate on any of those reasons?
No.
Dana, with those antics with Arman, is that going to make you hesitant to let these guys compete in the RAF? Because it seems like that promotion's taking off.
No. Listen, there's plenty of guys that wrestle that have, been respectful with other guys that they wrestled, and I understand there was some back and forth with both of those guys, but where there's smoke, there's fire, and Arman's been smoking a lot lately, so.
Okay, so the key thing here is he says, I'm not thrilled with Arman. I had people in the comments section telling me this is good for Arman. It's going to help his title shot. I saw someone on YouTube say that this helps his case and all that, and it's completely made up. Guys, when you're going to watch content or take opinion from people, take it from people that actually have credibility in this industry, because here's Dana White right here saying he's not thrilled with Arman. If it was a case of where they thought it was going to help him, would Dana not say, oh yeah, we're going to use this in the promo video or something, which is the exact opposite of what he's thinking. Now, he doesn't outright say it. I also don't think the question about, oh, is this going to make you hesitant of fighters competing there? No, that's on the individual. That's on Arman. That, to me, that's irrelevant. That's like saying, do you think Paul Daly punching Josh Koscheck after the ref in the UFC is going to make you hesitant to sign other fighters? Like, that's not going to happen. It comes down to like an individual thing right here. But yeah, he says it clear as day. He is not thrilled with Arman. It's not just the stuff you see publicly. The publicly thing he's referring to is the RAF thing, is my takeaway from this. So like I said in that video, which I got a lot of flack about, I don't think Arman doing that helps his case for a title shot. I think it hurts it, because again, if we're going off what the UFC wants, and I'm not saying this is right, by the way, but I'm saying that the UFC has already said that you got to be on your best behavior. We didn't like the headbutt with Dan Hooker. We didn't like the whole situation at 311. He goes out and does this. Dana right here says he's not thrilled. Now, two things could be true at once, because Arman on Ariel last week was talking about how him and Hunter Campbell have a good relationship. That may be true. Maybe Hunter and him are good. Arman was kind of joking about, I'm going to get a shot at 170 or maybe a shot at 145. Again, I don't think that's going to happen. But the facts are right now, you're hearing it from Dana White, he's not thrilled with Arman. So again, this kind of proves me right that I said that what happened last week is not going to help Arman's case for a title shot. Like I said, I think Arman's best advice, or best path to victory, path to getting a title shot, book a UFC fight, whether you deserve it or not. I don't mind him. What if him and Oliveira want to run it back now? After seeing what Charles did last night to Max Holloway, I'm totally fine with that. Should Arman have to fight someone else and to get a title shot? No, he shouldn't. Let's be clear about that. But we're going with the parameters that the UFC is not happy with Arman based off the series of events that have happened. And again, the boss man, it couldn't be any more crystal clear here. I am not thrilled with Arman. There we go. How do you think he can be thrilled with Arman? Arman takes a UFC fight. That's just my take on this, and I think that's what's going to happen. So again, a few little updates here from the UFC. So just to recap, Jones and Pereira was not the fight that fell through. Is Dana lying? I don't think so. Ariel didn't really expand on that, but Ariel did mention there was negotiations. The one other thing I'll just quickly mention, Ariel in here does not say anything was close. He just said they did negotiate, they didn't close the deal. So we don't know how legit or not this was. I'm going on the side of this wasn't legit at all, and they probably did talk. But again, if Dana's hammering down on the fact that he thinks Jones is retired, I don't think that's happened. So that's what's up with Jones. I don't think Jones fights again. As far as Arman, yeah, he's sort of in the same spot as before, but like I said, I don't think to mention it here, Dana didn't outright say like he shouldn't do that, and now he's in even more trouble. But he's obviously not happy with Arman, which again goes back to the point I made in that other video. So let me know your thoughts in the comments about Jon Jones, about Arman. Would love to hear from you. Let me know your takes on all this. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram @Lynch on Sports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.